Hey everyone, so today we're diving into one of the most unique and ambitious projects in the entire crypto world, Cardano. You might have heard it called the academic blockchain, and in this explainer, we're going to figure out exactly why it chose this slow, deliberate path in an industry that's absolutely obsessed with speed. So let's just start with a huge question. The early days of blockchain, revolutionary for sure, but man, they were also packed with problems. What if, instead of just trying to patch those problems up as you go, you could build a whole new system designed to avoid them from the very beginning?
Well, that is the big idea right at the heart of Cardano. This wasn't just another spin on Bitcoin or a tweak on Ethereum. No, this was a total rethink of what a blockchain could and should be, built from the ground up on a super solid foundation of academic rigor.
To really get why Cardano is so different, we first have to talk about the problems it was designed to solve. I mean, why did we even need a so-called third-generation blockchain in the first place?
It really just boils down to these three massive issues. First, you've got scalability. As networks like Bitcoin and Ethereum got more popular, they got completely jammed up. Transactions got super slow and crazy expensive. Second, sustainability. You know, the whole proof of work thing that Bitcoin uses, where computers solve puzzles, it just burns an unbelievable amount of energy. And finally, security. Rushed code and sloppy smart contracts have led to billions, with a B, of dollars just vanishing into thin air from hacks.
So Cardano's answer to all this chaos wasn't to just move faster and build more stuff. It was the opposite. It was to slow down, be deliberate, and bring a serious, scientific, research-first approach to building a blockchain.
So what is it exactly? Well, Cardano is a decentralized platform that launched back in 2017, and the key name you gotta know is its founder, Charles Hoskinson, who was actually one of the original co-founders of Ethereum. He left that project because he believed he could build something on a much more sustainable and secure foundation. And its cryptocurrency, by the way, is called ADA.
And this right here, this is the soul of the project. Instead of that move fast and break things mantra you hear everywhere else, Cardano's philosophy is completely different. Every major piece of their system is based on academic papers that get peer-reviewed by actual scientists and top-tier developers before they even think about writing code. This right here is what makes it stand out.
Okay, theory is great, but how does Cardano's technology actually deliver on these big promises of being more scalable, sustainable, and secure? Let's get into the nuts and bolts.
All right, so first up, let's talk about that massive energy problem. Instead of proof of work, where miners burn city-sized amounts of electricity, Cardano uses a proof-of-stake system they call Ouroboros. Now here, people who own the ADA currency can stake their coins to help validate transactions. This gives them a real economic incentive to keep the network honest and secure. And get this, it uses a tiny fraction of the energy. We're talking like 99.9% more efficient. It's a total game changer for sustainability.
Okay, next up, scalability. Cardano's solution here is honestly pretty brilliant. It's this two-layer architecture. Just think of this settlement layer as like an armored truck. It's super secure, and it does one thing really well, move ADA around. Then you have the computation layer, which is like a separate, flexible workshop. That's where all the complex stuff, the smart contracts and apps, happens. By keeping them separate, you stop the main highway from getting all clogged up, which makes everything more efficient and way easier to upgrade later on.
And what about security? To tackle that, Cardano built its very own programming language called Plutus. It's specifically designed to help developers avoid common mistakes and write bug-free code. But the really cool part is something called formal verification. It's basically a way to use math to prove that a contract will work exactly like it's supposed to before it ever goes live. The whole goal is to prevent those catastrophic hacks that have plagued other platforms.
So let's just hammer this home. The two-layer design, that's what makes it scalable, built to handle massive volume without breaking a sweat.
The Ouroboros system? That makes it sustainable, tackling crypto's massive energy problem head-on.
And finally, the peer-reviewed science and the Plutus language, that makes it secure, building a fortress that's perfect for high-stakes applications.
But of course, Cardano doesn't exist in a bubble. It has a giant, well-established rival that it's always being compared to, the undisputed king of smart contracts, Ethereum.
This really breaks down the two different philosophies. Now, Ethereum is also moving to proof of stake, but it started with a single-layer architecture and a culture of just building and iterating really fast. Cardano is the challenger, making a big bet that its slow and steady, peer-reviewed approach is going to win in the long run. But you just can't ignore the fact that Ethereum has a massive head start. We're talking way more developers, way more apps, and a huge chunk of the market share.
So this all leads to the ultimate question for the project, right? Can all of this brilliant, carefully planned academic theory actually translate into real-world dominant success?
Well, there are some serious hurdles. You can see the biggest one right there. Fierce competition from Ethereum and a bunch of other platforms. And right behind that is the challenge of getting people and businesses to actually use it. But notice that last one, its own development pace. What's kind of ironic here is that its greatest strength, that slow, careful approach, is also a major risk in a market that moves at lightning speed.
But hey, it's definitely not standing still. Cardano is making some very real progress out in the world. I mean, look at its partnership with the government of Ethiopia, building a digital ID system for millions of students on the blockchain. Its extreme focus on security is designed to pull in serious industries like finance and healthcare, and its governance model, Project Catalyst, is pretty cool. It lets anyone who holds ADA vote on and fund the future of the entire ecosystem.
Okay, so after looking at the problems, the tech, the competition, the whole shebang, what's the bottom line here? What's the one big idea you should walk away with?
It's this. Cardano is playing the long game. It is making a massive fundamental bet that in the future, when we're talking about billions, maybe even trillions of dollars flowing through these networks, the platforms that win won't be the ones that move the fastest. They'll be the ones that were built the most carefully.
And that really just leaves us with one final lingering question. In an industry that is defined by hype, speed, and constant change, can the slow and steady scientist actually win the race?